Welcome back, devoted followers of star-crossed stories and heartfelt confessions, to your home on the internet, Turkish Spotlight Secrets. The air today feels charged, as if every whisper in the industry had conspired to bring us to this very moment. If you crave exclusive insight and our signature deep dives into the most captivating romances, show your love with a like, make sure you're subscribed, and, for those who want to stand even closer to the flame, the join button is waiting with special perks just for the Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. Now settle in, because what we're about to share carries the unmistakable pulse of something real, intimate, and unforgettable. In a world where cameras blink and buzz with relentless speed, where rumors flare up and burn out by lunchtime, some connections resist the churn. They glow quietly, warming the space between two people who know how to navigate noise without losing each other. And yet, even the most carefully guarded feelings sometimes spill into the light with a force that no publicist could ever script. That is what has erupted around the pair everyone can't stop watching. The magnetic, consistently admired Kagate Ulusoy and the luminous, disarmingly sincere Hazal Kaya. Their chemistry has long lived in the collective memory, but this week, a few unguarded words from the star himself turned a private reaction into a public heartbeat. It was not a bland confession, it shook timelines, toppled trending lists, and left fans clinging to every syllable as if it might reveal the future. For months, maybe years, Kagate Ulusoy and Hazal Kaya have walked the fine line between public curiosity and personal peace. They've stepped onto red carpets side by side with a calm that suggests they know exactly who they are together. They've appeared in photos where a glance says more than any caption could. But nothing prepared anyone for the gravity of what he allowed himself to admit. Those close to the actor say it began almost incidentally, with a simple recollection during a quiet conversation about a routine day at work. That routine day, it turns out, was anything but. The scene took place at a professional photo shoot, with all the usual bustle, stylists rearranging curls and collars, assistants tilting lights, a photographer calling for more softness, more shadow, more spark. Then it happened. In a gown designed to evoke the timeless promise of forever, Hazal stepped into frame. Time, he said, got thin and light. In his own words, soft but unflinching, we were on set, everything ordinary, and then she walked in wearing that bridal look. I swear, the whole room fell silent in me. My chest was pounding so hard I wondered if it would hold. If that sounds like poetry, it's only because it was a moment that transfigured a job into a vision of a life. It wasn't a coworker admiring good styling. It was a man stunned by the echo of a vow that had not yet been spoken. The impact was immediate and explosive. With those words, speculation reignited like a storm hitting dry earth. Is this a sign? Is an engagement around the corner? The chorus of questions rose in synchronized awe. But while thousands were putting hearts and rings in their captions, Hazal's response, true to her nature, was simple and unforced. Friends say she blushed, laughed in that quiet way of hers, and, with a gentle disbelief that only deep affection can carry, said, I didn't realize it struck you that deeply. No grand theatrics, no staged reply, just an intimate admission wrapped inside another. If the world wanted to see evidence of something real, there it was, two people with a shared grammar of tenderness, speaking it fluently without shouting. Even their peers notice it. Colleagues tell us that the balance they project is the key to why so many want to believe in them: mutual respect, unhurried warmth, a willingness to listen when conversations turn to the future. It's the quiet, not the noise, that keeps their connection resilient. In an age of spectacle, restraint can feel like rebellion, and their restraint has only amplified interest. There's a sense that when they do share, it's because the feeling has outgrown the need to hide. Before we push further, a small pause for you, our Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. Do you believe a single image can stop time the way he described? Have you ever felt a flash of clarity that rewrote your understanding of someone you already loved? Tell us in the comments, we read everything, and your thoughts spark the best conversations on this channel. If you're drawn to this kind of intimate storytelling, tap like, subscribe for more, and consider joining to support the work we put into bringing you stories that breathe. Inevitably, that one unguarded recollection has set fire to marriage talk. No official announcement has been made, and yet the sincerity in his voice refuses to be dismissed as a fleeting rush. The public has crowned them compatible, delightful, inevitable. Their names trended for hours, then days. Meanwhile, each continues to climb in their careers, adding another layer to their appeal, not just lovers, but professionals who understand ambition without sacrificing closeness. That's the alchemy that fascinates gossip watchers and skeptics alike, the promise that success and intimacy can share a table without competing for the spotlight. Tabloids, often cynical about grand declarations, have grudgingly admitted that certain truths cannot be spun by strategists. He saw her in a dress meant for forever, and it shook him. That simple truth has refused to fade. Industry corridors will remember it, the way a candid moment can reframe a relationship, turning whispers into something more resolute. Those lucky enough to see them between takes say the two have been even more closely attuned lately, orchestrating pockets of time for one another with a care that borders on ritual. Shared breakfasts when schedules threaten to devour the day, late-night phone calls when they're in different cities, stories traded like treasures saved from their first days on set together. He has always had a protective streak, and it seems even more tender now. She meets it with a forthrightness that calms and clarifies. It's a partnership that seems to strengthen precisely because it is lived, not presented. Insiders describe a subtle shift in him that radiates outward. One makeup artist told us that he's lighter on set, generous with smiles that used to be rarer, focused in a way that feels quietly joyful rather than steely. No one says the change is dramatic, they call it settled, grounded. They credit that to Hazal's presence, the way her steadiness folds into his intensity. On her side, the change is echoed. There's a glow, yes, but also an ease, a sense that laughter arrives faster and stays longer. In interviews, she has been careful not to fuel speculation with definitive statements, yet each measured answer seems wrapped in happiness she can't entirely keep to herself. Fans have decided that love has worked quietly miraculous things for them both, and the evidence, it seems, is everywhere. Of course, the refusal to confirm anything has only fanned curiosity. Social feeds brim with vision boards for a wedding that hasn't been announced. Imagined venues, dream designers, playlists, color palettes. Comments rack up thousands of likes. After a confession like that, how do you go back, reads one. Another, this is the kind of love that makes you believe in promises. Both names climb trending lists again and again, as if the internet itself wanted to script the next chapter. And yet, beneath the noise, they keep their pace steady. They have always preferred to move by their own compass, and that hasn't changed. Those close to them insist that whenever they steal a break from filming, they talk, not just about campaigns and scripts, but about homes and habits, about how to guard their quiet while honoring the life they're building. He guards his privacy like a talisman, but his feelings for her have a way of slipping past his defenses, shining through in small details. The way his eyes change when someone says her name, the way he listens when she speaks to a crew member, the way he organizes his calendar with a new kind of intention. She, for her part, values this as the purest proof, not dramatic proclamations, but consistent behavior rooted in trust. She has said many times in different ways that trust is the pillar. Trust carries them through the moments when fame tests patience, when schedules collide, when outsiders try to write their script. Styles have shifted too, and fans notice everything. Hazal's recent looks have been the talk of events, refined lines, soft colors, a choreography of grace that feels unmistakably personal. Her posture, her smile, the way she greets photographers without losing herself, it reads like a person who knows where she stands. Around the same time, he has taken on projects with grown-up confidence, choosing roles that reflect not just a career trajectory but a life in motion. Friends say decision-making feels different now. Choices are weighed not simply by artistic challenge but by the shape of the days they want to share. That kind of consideration is a language all its own. Despite the intensity of attention, those who see them off-camera talk about how wonderfully ordinary they can be. Grocery runs with caps pulled low but not so low they can't find each other in the aisle. Coffee shop corners where conversations drift from lofty to silly in a heartbeat. Long walks that don't end in a paparazzi chase because sometimes the city grants them privacy like an unspoken favor. Their normal is what their circle loves most, because normal is the hardest thing to preserve when the world is watching. And still, that one moment lingers above all the others, a set, a dress, a heartbeat racing so loudly it might split the room. If there was ever a preview for a life to come, perhaps that was it. Not an announcement, not a press release, but a sensation that melted professional into personal and revealed the core underneath. It is no wonder people are swept up in it. In a climate often draped in irony, sincerity lands like a blessing. A single unguarded feeling, expressed without artifice, becomes an anchor for everyone craving proof that love can build something steady. So here we are, Turkish Spotlight Secrets family, watching the aftermath of a confession that neither asked for nor needed permission to exist. Will there be an engagement soon? Only time can answer that, and we honor their choice to let it be their answer to give. But what we can say, without embellishment, is that these two move like partners who have learned the shape of each other's lives, who make room for the vulnerable and the brave, who speak in glances and laughter and long, patient plans. Tell us what you think. Do you see an announcement on the horizon, or do you believe they'll keep sheltering this flame until the moment feels right? Which Turkish stars would you like us to explore in our next deep dive? Leave your predictions, your hopes, your favorite moments in the comments. Your voice is the heartbeat of this community. If this story stirred something in you, please hit like, subscribe so you never miss a turn in the tale, and consider joining to support Turkish Spotlight Secrets in the most meaningful way. Until we meet again, keep your eyes on the scenes that matter most, the quiet ones, where truth speaks softly and still fills the room.